not supposed to tell you this, but out of thousands of roasters in the US, only about 23% of them are women. Is that true?
The coffee industry is definitely still a male-dominated field.
San Francisco is and always has been a leader in the food and beverage space. All three of the major waves of innovation and coffee culture in America started in Northern California, specifically the Bay Area. The first wave began in 1900 with Hills Brothers and Folgers and the advent of vacuum packaging. This allowed for the first coffee brands to go nationwide. The second wave began just across the bay in Berkeley with Alfred Peet and Peet's Coffee. This inspired Starbucks, which kick-started the cafe culture in America. Finally, the third wave started in San Francisco with companies like Verve, Blue Bottle, and Equator Coffee, which was founded in 1995, the same year as Counterculture and Intelligentsia. The third wave put focus on coffee quality above everything else and traceability. So for the first time, people wanted to know what origin their coffee came from, how it was sourced, and how it was getting to them. And beyond that, there were improvements at source that created higher quality coffee. With these components all mixed together, there were innovations in roasting and brewing to express the newfound flavors that they were able to develop by better farming practices. That's just a small piece of it. It trickled out into so many things, including innovations in equipment, innovations in brewing and new recipes, as well as different ways of roasting, taking things lighter, showing off more acidity rather than roundness and dark roast flavors. These are all affectations of the wave. But at the very root of it, it was about traceability and improving quality from the ground up. I credit the third wave to San Francisco because it wasn't just a one-off diamond in the rough the way that Counterculture North Carolina or Italian Chicago was. It was a full-blown movement, and it spread all across the entire West Coast before it grew enough energy to sweep over the entire US. So naturally, if I'm in San Francisco looking for makers, I'm going to go straight to the source, one of the original third wave players, Equator Coffee.
So welcome to Equator Coffees. We'll give you a little tour of our roastery. So come on through here. Hi, my name is Ted Stachura. I'm the director of coffee for Equator Coffees. I've been with the company for 11 years, overseeing green coffee purchasing, quality assurance, and working in collaboration with the roasting team to produce delicious coffee. Right out on the production floor, we have our cupping table. So we have a cupping that's set up here that we'll be tasting later today. We just pull small samples of coffees, and we're tasting through all of our blends, all of our single origin coffees, typically doing 2 tastings per day of this size in order to keep up with all of the quality assurance needs that we have. Do our samples. We have all of the green coffee samples that we get for offer samples, pre-shipment samples, arrival samples. Everything is done here, roasted here, and tasted on the cupping table. This is one of the 3 roasters that we currently have in production. This is a Loring Kestrel 35 kilo roaster, one of the first Loring machines that was ever in production. Have this roaster for something like 15 years.
Equator has just recently promoted Michelle Fleming to be their new head roaster. Now, Equator is known to be a progressive, equitably minded company, so given the fact that it's a female-owned, certified B Corp in San Francisco, I'm not surprised to find out that they're part of the 23%.
And finally, we have our smallest roaster, which is a 7.5 kilo Italian roaster called a Petroncini. And it is the second roaster that Equator ever owned. And we use it every day. We roast our own small batches on it. We have a roast to order program. So if we get a small amount of coffee ordered, we roast it on the small machine. If we get larger quantities ordered, we roast on the bigger machine. It's an organic certified facility. All of our coffee in this area is certified organic.
Okay, Equator's a good company, but are they cool? They're cool. Let's meet our maker.
I'm Michelle Fleming. I'm the head roaster at Equator Coffees, and I'm a maker. I got started in coffee like a lot of people do as a barista in college, and I was really lucky to meet the folks who were roasting coffee for the cafe I was working at. They let me kind of hang out and shadow. I had been a graphic design and printmaking student, so it kind of felt natural to go from running a letterpress to running a roaster. It's a lot of upfront planning and then a kind of lot of repetitive in the zone work. I'm really interested in the chemistry of roasting, so I really try to, after we do those initial roast and taste, think about, okay, like if we want more acidity, when do acids form in the roasting process? What do I need to do to highlight that acidity? Or if we want to downplay it, like at what point do they begin to degrade? So I really try to think about those things, but it always comes back to how it tastes on the cooking table. I started at Equator as an associate roaster, which is kind of what we call our production roasters, and I was in that role for about 2.5 years, and then was promoted to lead roaster, and then about 4 months ago became head roaster.
How'd that feel?
It feels awesome. I've worked really hard to get here, and it feels good to be recognized. I feel really supported by Equator and by the roasting team.
Yeah, but how do you work with Ted?
How to not get in trouble.
There must be all sorts of bad blood battle of the sexist stuff going on over there. I'd love to be a fly on the wall in that place. Let's see how Ted feels about working with a female roaster.
At Equator, we have a very collaborative process between the green buyers, Nate Breckenridge and myself, and our roasting team led by our head roaster, Michelle.
I work really closely with Ted. He buys extraordinary coffees, and I strongly believe that coffee is at its peak when it leaves the farm, and what we're trying to do is represent the coffee the best that it can be. So, I'm talking to Ted all the time about what is the intention behind our purchasing. He's sourcing beautiful coffee. He maintains these really long relationships with the producers we buy from, and all of the coffee we buy has a place in our menu, and I'm really looking to make it shine.
Not as juicy as I was expecting. Clearly, all they care about here is coffee and the environment.
One of the largest commodities in the entire world. It's an enormous industry, and most specialty coffee is hand-picked. It's not machine harvested. It's done by people really individually looking at ripe cherries and picking them, and it has a huge impact.
We do try to establish long-term sustainable business relationships with coffee producers. I think the most important aspect of my job is relationships, and that's relationships with the people who work in this building, relationships that we develop with coffee producers, individual farm owners. Developing those long-term relationships over time is really valuable.
Boring. I need a coffee.
Shitty train, I got no sun, there's only rain. I wanna crash and numb this pain. Nothing will last inside this lane. Oh, take me far away past these mediocre days. I need to stop this burn. Say, can you help me unlearn? This rodeo's got me feeling like a soul. So I should go before I'm a This rodeo's got me looking like a bad, bad girl. I should go.
Pretty awesome. Pretty excellent. A little bit of fruit, berries, like dried fruit, and chocolate finish, milk and dark chocolate. This is their blend. I think it's called like tiger stripe or something to do with a tiger. For centuries, coffee has been a very exclusive industry. Not just for women, but for anyone who was in the roaster retail space. You had to earn your way in, and secrets were very closely held. There were no classes to take, there was no internet to search, and basically you had to apprentice and kind of learn your way through the trade like any other. Of course, this was even more exclusive to women, as the physical aspects of the job always created the argument as to whether or not women would be capable.
Yeah, I love lifting heavy stuff.
This is an argument that they make in any industry when they're trying to be exclusive, and there is no other argument to be made. Today, there are classes, and there is an internet, and there are organizations like the Roasters Guild, which I'm a member of, and the SCA, which have done a tremendous job of spreading knowledge. And this has opened the door to thousands of people that never would have had it open to them before. Yet, barriers remain for women in this industry, absolutely. Whether there are mental barriers or social barriers, they exist. And Equator Coffee and Michelle Fleming are doing their part to bringing these barriers down. Michelle, what brought you to San Francisco?
I've been roasting for about 10 years now. I started somewhere a lot smaller. I think I hit a ceiling at that job where there wasn't anyone to teach me the stuff I didn't know. So I made the move from Baltimore to the Bay Area to work at Equator, and it's been worth it.
Like the Hills Brothers and Folgers before, Michelle has made the pioneering journey from the East Coast to California in search of the glimmering coffee dreams of roasting. Now Michelle is a pioneer in the coffee industry and is inspiring the next generation of women to learn the tools and the skills and work towards that dream and making it happen.
I really hope that in my career I can be a mentor to women roasters, be what I didn't get to have. I really had to figure out a lot of it for myself. I also really, really hope that changes for the industry and we start to see better representation of women in roasting.